Hello and welcome to the Gaia update for Jupiter in Scorpio. I'm Adrienne Elise. Jupiter goes into Scorpio on October 10th of 2017 and stays in Scorpio until it moves into its home sign of Sagittarius in November of 2018. So this is going to flavor the whole next year ahead. Jupiter is our yearly astrology shifter. And so this shift from Libra, Jupiter in Libra, into Jupiter in Scorpio is quite a shift, and I'm sure that you're feeling it. Scorpio, a lot of times people feel kind of uncomfortable energy around Scorpio. Scorpio is the sign of death, transformation, the underworld, the shadow, sexuality. And so it can feel kind of intense. And Jupiter is the biggest planet, and it rules luck and expansion. And so what happens when this big powerhouse planet moves in to the sign of Scorpio? Well, the thing about Scorpio is that it's a fixed sign. And so we have cardinal, mutable, and fixed sign. Cardinals are the starters, the instigators. Mutables are the adjusters. And then the fixed signs are the completers. And so the fixed signs really have a desire to get to the truth. Get to the truth of the true self, get to the truth around life. And so this next year of Jupiter in Scorpio, however it plays out for us individually, is really about grabbing a hold of a life that's more fulfilling, living our truth, coming into what really matters to us. And in order to do that, we have to go through the shadow. So Scorpio rules desires, and this massive activation of desires. And that can be sexual desires, so you need to be careful. We've got the expander planet in the sign of sexuality, but it can also be just this intense activation of desires. So Jupiter in Libra is kind of like, okay, everything's okay. Jupiter's the accommodator, wants to find balance, wants to keep everything kind of copacetic. Not Scorpio. Scorpio does not care about the drama, the effect on other people, any of that. And it's kind of refreshing in a way, because a lot of people who have been just kind of towing the line and going along and not really having the strength or confidence to dig into their life, to dig into those desires, to activate this energy of fulfillment in their life. So Jupiter in Scorpio is going to really activate these deeper desires for an expression of your true self. And so the process of that, because Jupiter's also the seeker planet, our teacher, our learning, our higher knowledge. And so we're getting some higher knowledge around the shadow aspects. And so that can feel a little daunting. And we are having a huge bloom of this energy as we move in, just right as we move into this, as Mercury is also making this transit right along with Jupiter into Scorpio, and then also the sun. So Jupiter, Mercury, and the sun all close together. And of course the moon moves real quick there. So these planets are really activating this and kind of like bringing this entourage along with Jupiter, coming in to kind of bringing this kind of whole pageant along with Jupiter the king into the sign of Scorpio. And so when the sun moves into Scorpio on October 23rd, and that is also when it comes up not too long after that with that conjunction with Jupiter. And so Mercury is our mental understanding, our everyday perception, and the sun is our identity and our core essence. And so we're kind of bringing these things along with us. So there's this huge culmination and bloom when the Sun and Mercury and Jupiter all together in Scorpio. We're going to get a hit at the end of this month, at the end of October, about what this Jupiter and Scorpio is really going to be about for us. So it's a really great time to kind of tap into your potential, to what you want to see happen in your life, what you want to do to use this Jupiter and Scorpio energy to fulfill your desires and live the life you dreamed of. So that is, but also Scorpio, you know, it's a time of Halloween, and it's like where the veils are really thin between worlds, and it's kind of like an eerie time. This is going on. This is a powerful thing, but actually it's like, it feels a little creepy, but we're actually revealing the truth of these shadows, these kind of invisible, negative, and kind of oppressive energies that we've been wrestling with on the planet. Now are going to start to being identified in our life, in our individual lives, as this programming around how we're supposed to live according to our family, according to our sex, according to, you know, the time we're born, and, you know, societal conditioning, past life belief systems. And so all this kind of cloak of negativity, of restriction, of like all that is like, we haven't been able to really get a grasp on what that is. And so Jupiter and Scorpio is just like diving down into the depths of this Scorpio energy, and it's going to be revealing some shadow. But the thing is that when you have that shadow there, you can feel when there's uncomfortable energy affecting you, and or maybe in communication and relationships, when there's secrets, when there's stuff that's not being told, and it kind of sucks, right, when you're getting told the truth because it hurts. But at the same time, it feels so much better than walking around knowing when something's just not right. And this is how all of us have been feeling in our energetic field for this whole, you know, really since last year around this time. Really confused. What is this darkness? What is this energy? And then the eclipses brought in this huge influx of light, but it almost had the effect for a lot of people of lighting up the shadow, except we're not quite ready to get into it, not quite ready to see the truth, not quite ready to understand on deeper levels. But Scorpio, Jupiter and Scorpio, Jupiter's that higher knowledge, Scorpio is the shadow. So we're going to start understanding, but we're going to start feeling better immediately. And so it's nothing to be kind of, this Jupiter and Scorpio energy isn't anything to fear. It's something to embrace and to use this to choose a life of fulfillment that you want to really live. You want to go find your gifts. You want to get underneath all of this limiting crap and belief systems, and you want to just grab a hold of, make this desire energy work for you in this world instead of eating you up inside. And so Jupiter and Scorpio, you know, Libra wants to play by the rules and keep everybody happy. Scorpio, not so much. And so we're going to have some blowout. We're going to have some clearing out. We're going to have, you know, Jupiter's, you know, take this big planet and dump it into the ocean. You're going to have some displacement. This is good in our life, because finally this displacement means we're actually getting somewhere. And so it's a really great time to just commit to your truth. And when it comes back to your decisions, your everyday decisions, come back to your core values and start adjusting your life to what really matters, to what you really desire, to what you really want. Now, this energy of desire in Scorpio is the same. It taps into the energy of life, death. It's the powerful energy of transformation. And so when we can grab a hold of this energy of desire and activate it in a positive way, not necessarily creating a whole bunch of drama in our life through following our sexual desires, but using the spiritual desire that we are living in an ever-expanding universe, and the energy of desire is right in alignment with the energy of the expansion of the universe that Jupiter represents, expansion. And so this expanding of our desire to really live in fulfillment, to be a true human, to bring forward our gifts, to live our truth. And so it can be a very positive aspect for a lot of people and kind of throwing out the fear of what's hidden behind the veil and being able to dive into it so that you can, and we've got with this Mercury, Sun, coming together here with Jupiter as it makes this transition and saying, yeah, this is about seeing clearly. It's about getting on the page, getting our mind and our heart and our identity, our truth all lined up together. And so the powerful energies throughout the year that are going to happen, the biggest bloom of this energy is this instigating energy that's going to happen at the end of October as we have the Sun and Mercury and Jupiter all together. And so we're kind of instigating into this. Now later in the year, Jupiter is going to come into a square with the North Node. And that's the energy of the squaring up of the fixed signs. And so the Leo is a fixed sign, and it's like, yeah, I want to live my truth. I want to shine. I want to be who I really am. I want to play. I want to be a human and a child of God. And so that energy squaring up with this deep delving into your true nature, into your shadow, underneath the muck. It's a pretty potent energy, and that happens actually starts in December of 2017 and moves us into the new year. So these are crucial times as we move into this Jupiter and Scorpio energy. The end of October, kind of spooky, as we have all of the Scorpio energy and Jupiter there just kind of bringing the light. So Jupiter is a big planet of light, expansion, understanding higher knowledge in the shadow. So it's bringing the light to the shadow, and that's kind of cool, right? Because it's like, I mean, it's creepy and spooky a little bit. You can kind of feel this energy, and the interesting thing that goes along with this is that the influx of light that happened around the eclipses this summer, and I think everybody really felt that, and then kind of a backlash of negative energy and darkness, and that's this clearing out. Now, what on the other realms, the messages that I've been getting, what this is really about is that the influx of light is causing a release of energies from the lower astral planes. So we've got these lower astral planes where for maybe hundreds or thousands of years, souls have been kind of stuck there, where after we leave our physical body, maybe we can't quite get back all the way to a union with Source, and we're stuck kind of coming back into incarnations, bringing our monsters, our demons, our attachments back in with us, and replaying out painful stories lifetime after lifetime. And so there's a lot of disembodied souls out there that have been stuck in these lower astral planes, kind of like a ghost army. And it was kind of okay in a way, like we got used to it. It's just the way things were. And so with this emptying out of the shadow, these entities and energies don't have anywhere to go. So they're clinging on to us. If you have any resonance with your ancestral karma, or with your past life stuff, or this feelings of responsibility towards humanity or towards certain soul groups, this is all stuff we can address in an individual session and really get you on track and get these karmic things out of here, out of your way, so you can really move forward. So consider that in this year, working with me individually to really clear the shadow stuff and really live your desires, live your truth, and live your life of fulfillment. But anyway, so this energy is emptying out of lower astral planes and has nowhere to go. So I've been having a lot of sessions, individual sessions with people where they've got ancestral stuff really coming up, disembodied ancestors, kind of wherever in their family line or their soul group is some darkness, and it's like clinging onto them. Why them? Because they're trying to be in the light. So the more light worker energy you've had in your life and the more energy you put towards the light, the more dark you're feeling right now. So it's kind of like if you've been feeling kind of dark in this last month, then that is kind of saying, yeah, you're on the right path. You're doing the right thing as a light worker. Can we come together and transmute this stuff? Can we come together, clean up the shadows, see the truth, face the lies that we've been told for far too long about the truth of who we really are? And so this energy of emptying out of the lower astral planes is really affecting a lot of people. But sit tight. This shift of Jupiter into Scorpio is perfect timing, because we're going to go in there and we're going to clean this out. And so just know that you're being affected by a lot of collective energy right now. It's not all yours, and there are tools out there to help process. And the shift of Jupiter moving into Scorpio is going to be helpful, because it's like, okay, at least now I understand. At least now I understand a little bit more about this like dark foreboding energy that's been following me around all my life, and maybe it's my dead relative who's like, really wanting to clear up an issue so that the bloodline can be released back into the light. Indigos, souls and starseeds come in with this deep desire to like heal the whole bloodline. Now, here you are in this lifetime, you're trying to heal all of your lifetimes of karma. You're trying to heal your whole bloodline and all of their distortion. That's a big job. So keep in mind it's getting really intense right now because of this emptying out of the lower astral planes, and the light workers are being called to do the work. But guess what? This work is invisible. There's no validation for it. There's no support for it. And a lot of times there's no money attached to it. So here we are trying to survive, and also just doing this really beautiful transformational work. So now this transformational work, a lot of people this next year are going to be initiated into their shaman self, into their healer self, and kind of getting on the path of what your gifts are as far as bringing your light to humanity. And so that's another thing that's going to feel really good. It's kind of like a release of like, you've been pretending, we've all been kind of pretending, okay, this is how we do things here. Okay, I don't really quite fit in. I don't know what's going on with you people. Like, where am I and when can I go home? It's kind of a feeling of the light workers, starseeds on the planet. And now it's like, no, you're here because we're doing this really intense thing. You volunteered for, you signed up, you have the skills, you have the magic within you. You just have to unleash it and figure out what's in the way of that deeper essence. So the truth of you that's the healing for the world is also exactly in alignment with that life of fulfillment that you really want. So it's like unlocking these inner gifts and releasing them to the world. And that's kind of what Jupiter wants to do. It just wants to go into Scorpio and find those desires and find the truth of who you are and just unveil it and stop hiding it. So this marks a huge shift on the planet, because for thousands of years, light workers have been hiding who they are and pretending that they're not light because there's been all this programming that light brings darkness, and that there's going to be, some ramifications. Your healing energy will hurt people. This is all lies. We've been heavily programmed with lies for many lifetimes. And this Jupiter Scorpio is like, take off that skin. It's just a story that, okay, maybe we're burned lifetime after lifetime, but just take it off. Just don't let that does not define you. Okay, your family bullshit that you're trying to heal and take on everybody's pain, that's not who you are. And so this Jupiter Scorpio is an opportunity to figure out who we really are and what we really want, activate those deeper desires. And it's not about having the courage or like, oh, should I do it? That energy. It's about you have no choice. It's like, this is the Scorpio energy of life and death. And it's like, are you ready to live? Okay, this is what's required. If you want to live, you're going to live and fully express who you are. Dive into that shadow, clean up the muck, stop making everything your problem. And so the biggest message right there for light workers is that everything you're feeling is a lot of, like, it's collective, it's ancestral, it's your whole family. And for a person who has been going through life trying to step on a spiritual path, trying to open up their heart, trying to be true to who they are, trying to heal their shadow, those people are feeling the worst right now. And it's kind of a hard thing, because it's like, wait, you people have been having your heads up your butt while I've been trying to face my shit, and now your shit's my shit. And so this is a lot of an empowerment of the light worker, this Jupiter and Scorpio. perfect timing on the planet right now. So don't be too scared of it, and be kind of set your intentions and your goals on coming back to those values. Because opposite of Scorpio is Taurus. And we've got, with Uranus moving into Taurus in May of 2018, we've got this a lot of energy of like aligning with your values. And then Scorpio's your desires. And so when you get your desires and your values lined up, then you can really start to activate, be who you really are, come in to your truth, and just feel better. Just feel better. So know that like this intense energy will be shifting, because the shadow is going to be revealed. And so for those of us who have been holding the shadow energy, trying to transmute a whole bunch of energy for the whole planet and all the family and everything, that is going to shift, and it's going to feel better, and then we're going to get some clarity. So the rest of 2018 is just like, or 2017, year ahead, is just like really intense in this. And if you can use this, the end of 2017, to dive into this Jupiter and Scorpio energy, and you can really set your course for this empowerment year coming up of 2018, where it's time to live your truth, live your life of fulfillment. And ultimately what that means, a lot of what's going on right now is this kind of reality check around the North Node being in Leo, and being like, we get to the future by bringing forward our gifts. But it's one thing to just be like, oh yeah, I want to live my truth. I want to be who I really am. I want to bring forward my gifts, and then you go start down on that path, and it's like a big landslide, a big mudslide, a big, like sucking you down into the darkness. So Jupiter's like, nope, let's go into that darkness. Let's face that darkness. Let's go into that shadow and clean it up. And so the empowerment piece is going to be kind of sorting out all the stories that you've been told, all the programming, all the belief systems, all the other people's energy. You've been in collective energy. You've been like Velcro, just like grabbing a hold of, like a garbage collector, and just sorting all that through, and giving yourself permission to get on that Leo North Node vibration and be like, yeah, no, I'm here to shine my light. Because it's like, okay, I'm here to shine my light, but until you can go deep into the darkness underneath your desires, into that energy of desire, and clear away the negative and the shadow, then you can't really do it. So it's kind of like Jupiter's like, okay, we're going to go into Scorpio so that you can shine your light. We're going to go into this place. And so 2018 can be hugely transformational for a lot of people, from going from completely clueless about why they're even here on the planet and what is the point and why am I even bothering with this, to like, oh yeah, I have some power within me. I have a gift for this world, and nothing is going to get in the way of me bringing it. So it's really cool, because it's like a death and rebirth process of like letting go of all of this negative story and limitation, and then just kind of moving in to that power place deep within. And so to get there, there's going to be some kind of moving through the shadow. So December into the new year, I think that's really powerful that this square with the North Node is happening, because Jupiter is like, okay, we're going into the shadow, and then it's coming up. It's like, this shadow, it's like, it's necessary. We absolutely have to clean up the mess of the lies of this world that we live in, our own personal lies we tell ourselves, our family lies, this yucky stuff hidden under the rug. We have to reconcile this stuff in order to come into our true light, to express the truth of who we are, to be the stars that we are in a human body on planet Earth right now. And the powers that be want us to keep thinking that we're just little tiny pieces of dirt, and we're just in a body, and all we are is our body, and we're just going to live, and we're going to fight to survive, and then we're going to die. And that's just so much not the story. This is like a tiny piece of the human experience. And we're actually hardwired, and we have everything within us to spiritually evolve into light. And the fact that we get to have this opportunity to do that in a physical body on a planet is quite amazing. It's also quite intense because, you know, when you're working with transformational energies and then the physical world is like, you know, it takes a while to shift. And so it's going to feel good, I think, too, when Saturn, on December 19th, Saturn moves into Capricorn. And Saturn is at home in Capricorn. And so it's going to feel good in that way, and that it's time to rework, rewire our authority energies and our authority within ourselves, take back our power and our authority within ourselves, and also build something new. Saturn's the real world, and this transformation of this physical reality, which is like we're coming up against this dense world, these new energies coming in. And so Saturn in Capricorn is going to allow us to begin to build this new world. So that happens on December 19th. And then it's around that time, the middle of December, we're going to feel that squaring up with the North Node. And then that leads us into 2018. So that's going to be another big bloom. So big bloom here at the end of October of the initiatory energy of this Jupiter in Scorpio, a lot of information. These planets all oppose Uranus before they move into Scorpio. So that is a huge energy there because Uranus is coming to the end of its cycle in Aries. So we're completing our revolution of the self. We're like, okay, our identity completely blown apart. The lightning has come in and completely shaken us up. Now, so it's interesting because it's like we needed that energy. We need that energy to complete, to really move into the shadow and clean it up and find our desires and be who we really are. And so if you look at the stars this way, sometimes it just feels so intense, like we're just getting squeezed in all directions, like we have been for the last couple of months, years. But then when you really kind of step back and look at the play of these planets, they all have a voice, they all have an energy, and these different signs and the way they're moving through them, it's a beautiful, beautiful play. And if we can tap into that, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I started studying astrology around 2011 as we were moving into the 2012 stuff, like really in depthly as far as like how it's affecting all of us. And the reason why I started this is because I just saw these beautiful patterns playing out, and it was like these mysteries are being revealed for us. And if we can pay attention, we can use the energy of this time. And that's exactly the main message around Jupiter and Scorpio, is use this energy. Like, come out of complacency in your life. Grab on to your deepest heart desires and know that that is the medicine this planet needs right now. So I hope that I can be there along the journey in this next year to help you and just keep up with these astrology reports and the live activations. And I hope that you'll consider working with me individually. I'm developing a coaching program specifically around this, about coming into our true values and beginning to really make real change in our life based on those true values. So I look forward to working with you in the future, and enjoy this relatively spooky, eerie, but clarifying time in this Jupiter moving into Scorpio. So thanks so much for joining me. Until next time, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.